People will say to me when I work with them, especially in trauma therapy, they will sometimes not understand why they have trauma. And they'll say, oh, I know one of my mates who had this happen to him, or so and so had that happen to them. Now, that's real trauma. I don't understand how my little bits and pieces that have happened to me are anything close to what they've had to deal with in their life. And I can understand how that can feel when you're comparing your trauma perhaps to someone else and you're wondering how possibly, especially that deep ingrained trauma that's actually dictating your existence and dictating your outcomes. And it's dictating your consequences, because every time that you try and go to do something that you feel you would like to do or need to do or want to do or have a grand desire to do, you find maybe as you get older, you're starting to recognize your own sabotaging tactics. You're starting to recognize the way that you're not letting yourself get ahead, or not, there's some part of you stopping you, blocking you. And I think, especially in the work that I do, because I work in recovery coaching, a lot of the guys that I work with, male and female, but mostly men, as most of you know, the men that I work with, they are struggling with being able to evolve, or being able to grow, being able to move forward, being able to advance in the things that they have chosen they would like to advance in, including business or personal settings or otherwise. And wondering why they seem to be always falling short or collapsing, or as many guys say it, just as things start to get good, something collapses. And they're not too sure why. So what we do is we do a massive amount of discovery. We spend our time, and that's usually, that is the work. The work is the discovery. And people are so eager to get to the action plan. They're so eager to get to the strategies and the weekly schedule. And some people are so desperate to do that they want to get it out of their system. And so you help them. I help them to build a full weekly strategy and a full monthly strategy and yearly strategy, and let them put everything in there that they think is important to them, and start to watch as they try and achieve maybe 30 or 40 things over that week even. And that's the truth. And then realizing that what they're actually expecting or what they're asking of themselves is very difficult for any human to achieve. And so you start to talk more about what is most important, what's pressing in each strategy meeting. And you start to realize in each assessment, each recovery assessment each week. So I do one at the start of the week, which is a setup session. And then I do one at the end of the week, which is like a debrief and looking over the week, and also looking at what can work better than the next week. And usually within a couple of weeks, they realize that trying to get 30 or 40 things done and spreading themselves that thin in the week is just not, it's just, you're chasing too many rabbits and you just don't really land anything at all. You feel just as stretched and just as thin. And so what we do is then we get to that conversation around what are the most important, most pressing, the most attention-grabbing things on this list that you would like to do and need to do. And also you look at what did get done. So not only do you need to actually surmise and guess about what's important, you will see what they've done within that week, and you will see what they've actually chosen to do as important is actually the things that probably need to be given the time that they've been giving them over that week. And so we tend to help our guys to allocate that time wisely. And what we find is that you're actually giving more time to those things, and you're separating your 30 or 40 hours over the week into less things. And then they start to kick goals. And no wonder, because they're investing more time into those things that they have, that they feel drawn to, they feel that are necessary. And then what we do then is we're looking at the things that they have chosen or are drawn to as necessary to make sure they truly are necessary and not just procrastination or distraction tactics, because that can be the case too. And it's okay to have some procrastination or some distraction. That's your downtime. And so if someone is using their art or music or karaoke, car karaoke, for example, as a distraction or a procrastination, we leave time for that. We don't get rid of that. We just say, well, give yourself 10 minutes a day where you have that, because that's obviously something that you felt you needed and you took that break. But some people will spend hours doing that and say, okay, well, that's probably is distraction and procrastination. Let's give it an allocated time so that everything gets its time. And then what happens is you start to see more control get gained back over their week. And as that control is gained, you start to see a change in them where they start to relax more and they start to sleep better. The nightmares aren't as heavy. Their mornings aren't so full of fatigue. They just find they can spend more quality time with their kids and with their wife, because they start to feel that they're gaining back a sense of control, because they are starting to see that what they're doing, they're building inner evidence, a lower, deeper evidence around the fact that they actually are achieving. And they're achieving in matters that matter. They're achieving in things that matter, in areas that matter in their life. And they can see that because you start to track that. I love data. I love tracking data. I love tracking key performance indicators, no matter what it is. For example, someone might say to me, a dad might say, I want to spend a few minutes each day with my daughter. She loves to draw. She loves to do art. She's 4 years old. And I really feel that I just want to sit with her and just give her some time with daddy-daughter time, you know, in between dinner, before dinner. And I'll say, show me. And they'll say, what do you mean? I'll say, show me that you want to spend that time with your daughter. And they'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'll say, get out your calendar, get out your schedule. And they'll do that. And I'm just looking at a motorbike just came past. You probably didn't hear it because I've got a new microphone set up, the Holy Land set up. It's got the noise cancellation. My window is open. I'm driving along down the highway, noise everywhere, and you shouldn't be able to hear any of that. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm just actually really impressed with this little guy. I paid full price for it through Amazon. And the videos that I do, guys, are not monetized. So I'm just giving out a shout out because it's a great little bit of kit for the $65 Australian that I paid for it. Very, very happy. And a motorbike just screamed past, and I doubt you would have heard it. So the whole point of this is, though, I'd say, show me. Where are you? Here he is now. Wonder if you can hear it. We'll soon find out. He's gone. Let him go. Let him have his fun. I used to ride a motorbike and I loved it. Not anymore though. It's a Widowmaker. So the whole thing here is you ask them, show me, you know, prove to me how important this time is to you, and they'll show you their calendar. And I'll say, there'll be no sign of that. There'll be no time allocated. And so what I do is I say, okay, allocate the time. Just allocate 10 minutes before dinner, and write in there your daughter's name, or even just her initials. Like if her name is, say, Magenta, just put in MA for Magenta Art, and give Magenta 10 minutes of art. But while you're with her, you're going to find that 10 minutes are going to be so well spent, because you're just giving her 10 minutes, right? And we can all do 10 minutes somewhere. Even 5 minutes. If you spend even 5 minutes with your 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 16-year-old kid, and just give them full intentional attention. And that's the thing, intentional attention. You give them that for 5 or 10 minutes and you watch them, and you tell them you're going to do that every day of the week. They're just going to be waiting for it all day. You don't even know. You'll see. And so these are the things. But also, if you, say, for example, want to write a book, I'd say, well, show me. And I say, oh, but I haven't got time. I say, you have got time. Just even 10 minutes a day is 50 minutes over the week. And 50 minutes over the week can be spent very, very well. Use ChatGPT, get it to help you write out your synopsis and all that sort of stuff, and, your theories and your ideas. And don't let it write for you, but you just teach ChatGPT through your master prompting on what you actually want it to say and how you want it to write, and give it all the topics, feed it all the information you can, feed it all your references, feed it all of your research. And that might only be 10 minutes at a time. But by the end of the week, you'll find that you've got a really good outline, a really good skeleton of chapter 1. Then do the next week, chapter 2. And if you're looking at writing a book that takes you maybe 16 or 20 chapters, let's say a 5 or a 6 or a 7,000 word book, and say you want to run it into 24 chapters, that's 24 weeks. So within 6 months of just putting 10 minutes a day, just 10 minutes a day, over 50 minutes of the week while you're driving like I'm doing right now, and you just sit there with your headphones on and talk to ChatGPT out loud, and just do the voice to text. You can even just put on the speech mode where ChatGPT just talks to you, and you just allocate 10 minutes a day. You will be so surprised what you can achieve just giving things 10 minutes a day. It's really awesome, and you can do it.